What you just saw was a development version of our game, realized without any budget and showing just a small part of the city, as well as some basic movements. Hover, Revolt of Gamers is a parkour game obviously inspired by the Pioneer Mirror's Edge, but also by the eccentricity and the crazy dynamism of Jet Set Radio Future. And we are happy to tell you that Hideki Naganuma, the great composer of Jet Set Radio's soundtrack, has agreed to work with us on the project. Hover sends us into a vast, futuristic megalopolis, straight out of an SF movie, with a playground 100% explorable and interactive. When I was young, I was deeply marked by movie scenes like Lilo's fall in The Fifth Element, as well as John Anderton's escape riding futuristic vehicles in Minority Report. I've always dreamed of being able to experience such situations, and even more being able to simply walk freely through those amazing cities like Coruscant in Star Wars, or the Colony from Total Recall 2012. To climb on top of those gigantic buildings and watch the view, with that panorama teeming with life and technologies, it's a sensation that I've never been able to experience through video games, since those kinds of environments are always limited to poorly interactive and simple backgrounds. Who were better to explore the verticality of such a city other than heroes able to run at full speed, slide on anything and everything, and do huge jumps? My main goal is to bring to Hover gameplay that gives the maximum amount of sensation, to make a demanding game that will appeal to hardcore gamers seeking challenging competition, but also to create intuitive and quick-to-handle controls as well, using first-person or third-person view. Once in control of your favorite character, jump from wall to wall, slide on gutters and barriers, do tricks, and bounce off the ground to never lose any height. Accumulate experience to unlock new aptitudes and personalize each gamer you'll have recruited with the Resistance. Hover is an open world game as well, no question of limiting the gamer to a predefined path. During the missions, be the quickest possible while showing observation skills to find paths that fit situations the most. The police or rival gangs might pop up if you end up being too careless, so prepare yourself to improvise at all times. To prevent any path mistake or involuntary falls, each gamer's suit provides a rewind function, allowing him to reverse his actions at any time, making the game more accessible to new gamers. This function, which does a geographical and not temporal rewind, will allow you, once mastered, to create new, unpredictable movements and avoid your opponent's attacks. Hover isn't an FPS, therefore there are no weapons. By making this choice and by focusing the game on the movements, I refined the gameplay, inspiring myself from skating sports games like Jet Set Radio for its arcade aspect, and the Tony Hawk Skateboarding Saga for its scoring system. I have therefore sprinkled our parkour game with a combo and trick system, which in addition to allowing scoring battles, adds a new co-op mechanism as well, the Stunning Aura, which will allow you to slow down enemies and boost nearby allies' morale. We've designed the entire game with multiplayer gameplay in mind. You'll be able to at any moment connect to an online server and challenge other gamers in competitions created by the community, or simply make your character evolve in co-op mode. Still, with reinforcing the immersion in mind, I've carefully worked on the Oculus Rift compatibility as well, to offer you sensations particularly adapted to virtual glasses and goggles. Hover, Revolt of Gamers tells the story of a group of gamers from another world fighting the oppression that's running through their city since a new tyrannical mayor came into power. New laws have appeared, making video games illegal and condemning anyone to forced labor in the gigantic warehouses if they're caught under offensive entertainment. Adding to the anti-leisure propaganda that's been filling the streets, a new police including security drones and dreadful agents is now roaming the city, persecuting the population to confiscate all video game consoles. Despite the risks, a resistance slowly shapes itself in the shadows. Equipped with magnetic suits offering extraordinary movement capabilities, other gamers and yourself will have to put an end to the mayor's propaganda, help the persecuted citizens, free the confiscated consoles in Hover City's neighborhoods, and make the tyranny fall. At Fusty Game, we don't like intrusive and linear scenarios. This is why the characters will communicate between one another in real time, without the slightest interruption of your game, and the story will be narrated through missions and dynamic events that you'll be able to experience at your will. Each element in the universe of Hover is justified, from the menu to the graphical interface which unfolds cleverly, showing the options and control windows that you might need, without spoiling your immersion. To give you an idea, I'm going to tell you what a day as a Resistance gamer looks like. You start your game without any imposed goal. A few moments walking around will be enough to find something to do. You can, for example, help a citizen being persecuted by a security drone for having played with the console too much. Knock the drone and this one will start chasing you, leaving time for the citizen to escape. Each of your actions will bring consequences, however. Helping a citizen, doing a huge combo, or exploring high-perched areas. Here, for example, after having shaken off the drones and saved the citizen, a gamer impressed with your performance will come into contact to offer you a mission. The mission offered here is an infiltration mission. You'll have to gather some hidden consoles from a difficult-to-reach and highly supervised warehouse. Even if you could have stayed quiet, let's imagine once again that you've been spotted by one of the surveillance cameras. The alert has been given. A flying drone comes up and is now escaping with one of the precious consoles. It exits the building and flies through the city at high pace. If you play online, it'll be preferable to be helped by other players, by doing tricks for example, which will generate stunning aura, will boost your allies' morale, and slow down your enemies. Even if you catch up to the vehicle, you'll still have to bring the gaming consoles back to an extraction point. You'll have to find the fastest way through the vast city to compensate for the package's weight, which will make you vulnerable. And you'll have to skillfully play with your team by passing the console to each other while avoiding the Secu Box's assaults, or even other online gamers. Once the mission is completed, enjoy your reward by going into one of the city's shops to buy some equipment, or by putting your reputation at stake in some multiplayer competitions. Deeply attached to an era where cartoon games didn't lack audacity, like Jet Set Radio, I wanted to highlight the cartoon style through a deeply fun and dynamic character design. Hover takes place in another world. The gamers that you'll recruit in your team will be representatives of numerous and various extraterrestrial ethnic groups, like Watabaks, the Bluebit as nervous as he is joyful, Greendee, his faithful daredevil friend who's permanently bringing them to delicate situations, and many others yet to be discovered through the game, like Velon the Rebel or Otello the little computer genius. Involved with a highly technological context, it isn't surprising to count a few synthetic gamers within the team, like the droid Kit, and it goes the same for the city's inhabitants. Even if you're hunted in solo mode, or if you choose to be the hunter in multiplayer, experience diverse clans with various objectives and get involved into the fight raging through the city. It's the case of a rival gang naming themselves the Breakers, which, despite being advocates of the gamer's rights, uses violent and anarchistic methods to bring the tyranny down. Or even the numerous security drones put in place by the new mayor of Hover City. With a humanoid look or simple drones, the police only have one goal: hunt the gamers down and convert them to its cause. To get rid of some of the architectural restraints and have a total freedom of creativity, I chose to build the city on another planet. Thus, it's the representative of an extraterrestrial population as eclectic as it is technologically advanced. In order to vary the ambiances and offer various yet specific gameplay, I imagined a city split up in multiple areas. The player will have the freedom of evolving from the working-class neighborhood where its inhabitants are relatively poor and the architecture is chaotic with buildings stacked above one another, to more technological neighborhoods where the buildings climb high into the heavens, where numerous flying cars furrow the sky, trains following the vertical lining of the buildings, or even underground neighborhoods made out of numerous sewer systems that enable the quick access of remote parts of the city. Whatever the neighborhood may be, you can also feel the scenario's context. Numerous tags and graffiti made by the gamer's resistance adorn the walls, as well as a huge number of advertisement panels and video screens from the anti-video games propaganda, making the dictatorial atmosphere ruling the city stand out. To make the technological and dynamic aspects stand out, I've prioritized saturated shades and flashy lighting. Our goal is to bring you far, far away from what you're used to seeing in video games. Note that each player will be able to buy their own apartment in any of the city's buildings, which will serve them as a menu and spawning point when starting a game. Thank you for watching our presentation video of Hover, Revolt of Gamers. We hope that you've enjoyed the rather singular and colored atmosphere of our game, as well as our commitment to proposing thrilling sensations and a non-violent gameplay element. It's with your help and support that we'll be able to realize this ambitious project in time and continue to work with a complete creative freedom to offer you a very unique experience.